Hey everybody, welcome back to Trading Post again. This here's Fred, and this is Noodle. He's just sitting here chilling like a villain. Look at that. Now he's getting wound up. He's getting wound up. Yeah, he is. He's wanting to escape. He's a little escape artist. Anyways, this is going to be Fred Files, episode 16, The Real Silent Hill. All right, you guys, hang tight. We will be back. All right? All right, welcome back, everybody. Fred Files, episode 16, The Real Silent Hill. All right. Now, before Silent Hill became a horror film, it was a survival horror video game. But what's even more horrifying still is that Silent Hill, West Virginia, is based on a real place. The game uses a foggy atmosphere to inhibit the player's vision while they control Harry Mason on the search for his missing adopted daughter. Its unforgettable landscape and horrific features spawned an entire franchise of films and video games sequels. While the horror video game is well known, its true story and actual location are rarely recognized. There's a real town, the town of Centralia, known online as the Real Silent Hill, Pennsylvania, which inspired Silent Hill's aesthetic. Okay, let me roll back here. The town's name is Centralia, Pennsylvania. Okay, that's the real life Silent Hill. Now, in 2006, Silent Hill was adapted into a psychological horror movie. The film follows Rose as she takes her adopted daughter, Sharon, to the town of Silent Hill, West Virginia. Sharon screams the town's name in her sleep, which causes Rose to take her there. As the two arrive, they are involved in a car accident and Sharon goes missing. As ash and fog roll over Silent Hill, Rose searches for her daughter, only to find that the town is overrun by demonic entities, a cult, and Silent Hill shifts between layers of reality. While the real Silent Hill isn't overrun with monsters, it is almost as eerie and in many ways just as tragic. Okay, there's a surprising and disturbing Silent Hill, Pennsylvania link that led a town in the state to become known as the Real Silent Hill. While the environment of Silent Hill seems as though it could only exist in nightmares, it is a very real place with a devastating history. So let's continue on. The town of Silent Hill, West Virginia is actually Centralia, Pennsylvania, which was said prior. In May of 1962, the city had the local landfill burned in an attempt to clean up the waste. The fire spread through unsealed tunnels that led to an abandoned coal mine. This ignited a fire that burns to this day and is why Centralia became known as the real town from Silent Hill. Local firefighters could not stop the burning, and the government quickly decided that just like the fictional town of Silent Hill, Centralia needed to evacuate for their safety. Just as in the film, the air in Centralia is dangerous, and it is recommended people do not expose themselves to the environment for long periods. While most people left, a few stayed. Hoping that the fire would stop. One of the few remaining buildings is a church that is still in use. The Silent Hill town is very similar in this regard, as only a few citizens remain in Silent Hill, West Virginia, and continue to attend church. In 2002, the United States Postal Service suspended the town's zip code, and all roads leading into Centralia have since been barricaded. The Silent Hill true story follows this history almost to the exact details. Except in real life, Centralia is not plagued by occult, witches, or multidimensional monsters like Pyramid Head. The impressive attention to detail in the aesthetic of the movie, the most visible evidence of the Silent Hill, Pennsylvania link, speaks to the severity of the historical incident. Silent Hill's use of the town as inspiration further emphasizes the true horrors that happened in real life. Now, Silent Hill, this is part 2, okay? The assumption of, here's some of my notes, all right? This is what I got as far as that goes. The assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Ukrainian Catholic Church, is a Ukrainian Catholic, Greek Catholic church in the town of Centralia, PA. The church is the last remaining church in Centralia, which was largely abandoned after a mine fire rendered much of the town unsafe. Now, how did the fire start? The Centralia mine fire has been burning in the abandoned deep mine workings of the Buck Mountain coal bin since May 1962. The fire reportedly originated as an intentional, controlled burning of residential trash in an abandoned strip pit or a surface mine. Okay? So you understand it. Give me a second here. I'm going to pause this for a second. All right. Now, how many people died in Centralia in the Centralia mine fire? Well, in 1947, Centralia mine disaster, date March 25th, 1947. The location was Centralia number 5 coal mine, Washington County section of Wamak, Illinois. Casualties, 111 killed and 31 survivors. Okay? Which is sad, and we can even do a whole episode on that, y'all. If you want anything else out of any episodes I ever do, just point it, just make sure I'm aware of what you want me to do and throw it in there. Okay? We'll do it. I don't have a problem with it. But I don't know unless you tell me. You know what I mean? Now, we're going to go to the next question. These was different questions that was on like Google page or whatever. So, can you legally go to Centralia? A few people have asked if it is legal to explore the town of Centralia, PA. In short, there is nothing stopping visitors from driving into the borough, parking, and walking around. Now, next question. Is the Centralia fire still burning? Yes, in fact, it is. It is burning at depths of up to 300 feet or 90 meters over an 8-mile or 13-kilometer stretch of 3,700 acres, which would be 15 kilometers squared. At its current rate, it could continue to burn for over 250 years. Due to the fire, Centralia was mostly abandoned in the 1980s. Now, next question is Centralia is a borough and near ghost town in Columbia County, PA, United States. It is part of northeastern PA. Its population declined from 1,000 in 1980 to 5 residents in 2020 because a coal mine fire has been burning beneath the borough since 1962. Now, can you visit Centralia? And I already did that once already. I don't know why the hell I got it on twice. Since the Centralia mine will forever be off limits and would probably be a death sentence for anyone who tried to enter anyway. Heed my warning. It would probably be a death sentence for anyone who tried to enter anyway. So do not try to go to the damn mine that's on fucking fire. And it may be on fire for 250 years still. Because that's how hot and how bad it's burning. So, you can still tour the mines in Ashland if you're interested. Ashland is like Frackville and just a few minutes away from Centralia. So there you go. Now, how many people still live in Centralia? Centralia has a 2024 population of 5, which we currently said. Okay? Now, possible other Silent Hills. Let me pause this. I'm just going to call this Hill 2, okay? This is the other theory. This is, not another theory, but I guess my theory, whatever. But this is something else that I came across that I wanted to throw it in the mix. I want to see what you guys think, all right? I'm going to call it Hill 2. Now, Hill 2 is Edmondson, Kentucky. Now, on October 16th, 1962, kind of matches the date. Let's just think of that. Every man, woman, and child disappeared from the town of Edmondson, Kentucky. The date is relatively easy to pin down. The day before October 15th, a traveling salesman named Arnold Johnson passed through the small town in an unsuccessful attempt to sell an exciting new product, the bagless vacuum cleaner. During an interview with authorities afterward, Johnson said he noticed nothing unusual about Edmondson in the day before the disappearances. He did, however, remark that none of the housewives he spoke with during his brief stay seemed remotely interested in his product, something he found surprising compared to the response he typically received when demonstrating. Okay? Now, the vacuum cleaner to similarly sized towns. Now, not only did I not, this is his quote, not only did I not sell a single vacuum cleaner, but no one even wanted to see the product in action, he said during the interviews. If you could get in the door and show the woman what that vacuum could do, you were guaranteed a sale. Because he evidently had pride in what his product would do. Johnson chalked up his failure to the apprehension related to the Cuban Missile Crisis, which had begun a day before and had been dominating the airwaves. It's hard to sell a vacuum cleaner when your audience thinks there's possibility there'll be radioactive dust by the end of the week, he said. Johnson left the town of Edmondson the evening on October 15th. The next town on his sales route, Clement, was 80 miles away. He drove all night and didn't think about Edmondson until investigators from the Federal Bureau of Investigation knocked on his door 2 weeks later. During the early morning hours of October 17th, Randall Pierce, a farmer who sold his produce to the only grocer in Edmondson, drove into town to discover empty streets and closed storefronts. He said it was eerie, Pierce said, to the county newspaper later. Usually, at 7 in the morning, that little town is bustling. I thought I had maybe driven up during a holiday. Pierce lived with his wife and 3 children on a farm 15 miles outside of Edmondson. Like most families in the early 1960s, Pierce's wife homeschooled their children when they weren't helping their father tend to the farm. Now, and this is another quote, but I couldn't think of any holiday that would close up town in the middle of October, so I started getting spooked, Pierce said. I knocked on the doors, excuse me. I knocked on the doors of a few houses and didn't get a response from any of them. Around 8 o'clock, I realized there wasn't a single soul in Edmondson. Shaken and a little disoriented, Pierce returned home to his wife and children. He told them what he had seen or not seen in Edmondson and what nationalistic fears of communist invasion running rampant. His wife convinced him to drive to Clement and report what he had seen to authorities. The Pierce family had no phone at their farm, which is why they had to drive. Okay? Pierce arrived in Clement shortly after noon and immediately pulled into the parking lot of the local police department. He told the authorities what he had witnessed in Edmondson. Initially, as Pierce tells it, his story was met with disbelief and ridicule. But after multiple calls to Edmondson's police chief went unanswered, Clement's Sheriff Jonathan Ambrose gathered a group of men and traveled to Edmondson to investigate Pierce's claims. Sheriff Ambrose died of lung cancer in 1968. That's an odd place to put that. But however, in spite of being a veteran of both World War II and the Korean War, on his deathbed, Ambrose said that his visit to Edmondson on October 17th was, quote, the most disturbing and haunting experience of my entire life. And thinking about the everyday events that would still, quote, turn the blood in his veins to ice. All right. So according to most recent census, 236 individuals lived in Edmondson in 1960. It was a small town nestled in the hills of western Kentucky, named after a captain who was killed during the Battle of 1812. Edmondson was populated primarily by the descendants of who founded the town in 1825. Edmondson had one public school, a grocery store, a bank, a hospital clinic, 2 churches, and a post office. Most of the men worked small farms, like Pierce did, or ran a trade. Edmondson, like most small counties in rural areas, was self-sufficient and self-sustaining. Every 2 weeks, a grocery store would be restocked, and the post office would deliver mail every Tuesday. For entertainment, residents of Edmondson would have to visit Clement or another town. On October 17, 1962, Clement Sheriff Ambrose, 2 deputies, and Clement's primary physician piled into a squad car and followed county farmer Randall Pierce back into Edmondson. Ambrose carried his service pistol and ordered his deputies to bring their shotguns. The physician, Alan Cathy, was brought along in case a mass casualty event had taken place. Now, there was another one. There was a third one. I couldn't remember the damn name, so I'm sorry. I kind of failed you on that one. But the point of the matter is, what I want you guys to do is try to figure out which one do you think? I mean, this is my question to all of you out there listening. Which one in your mind do you think is the real life Silent Hill? I mean, obviously we already know that the game and the movie and stuff was based in part loosely off of Centralia, Pennsylvania. Now, from what I remember, there was a town in Pennsylvania, Centralia. There was Edmondson, Kentucky, and there was one in West Virginia as well. I just can't remember the damn name. I couldn't find the information before trying to get all this together, and I don't know why in hell I thought I saved a screenshot of what it was. Evidently I didn't, because it was not on there. I couldn't find it. But if y'all know what I'm talking about, send it to me. Email it to me. Comment down below. Tell me what you think about this episode. Because I'll be honest with you. It's really, really scary. I mean, to think about a whole town just disappearing. And there's other ones too. I have other ones that we can talk about. A town in Alaska. Totally disappeared. Gone. Off the map. Nobody left. Nobody there. But my point is, there's another point I do want to make, because I did read this somewhere about Edmondson, Kentucky. Now, there was a theory that some of I don't know if it was the locals, I think it was the locals, they said that considering that the Mammoth Caves run right underneath that town. Okay? And they claim, their theory is that maybe that whole town went underground in the caves and just got the hell out of there, because think about it, okay? At this point in time, you got the Cuban Missile War crisis, right? They're sketchy about communists. They're having a big deal with that. Then this happens. I don't know what happened, but something happened. Something happened. It had to. Something happened. But let's just say, for sakes of this theory, if the whole town boards up their shops and they just take off and get the heck out of there, what spurred it on? Was this mass hysteria? Was there something that actually started this event to happen? Is it some kind of a noxious gas that was going on around that town that was coming up from the surface? I don't know. I mean, I can't really say on that, but these are all theories. As far as this goes, this is a theory, and I think it was from like the locals. A lot of them, what they was saying is they think they went down in the caves and stayed in there, and they're probably still living there, for all we know. Basically kind of turning into semi-feral people, or whatever you want to call it. That's just a stretch, okay? They're probably still civilized people. They just live a different life. But anyways, tell me what you think on this video, please, okay? I want your thoughts. That's why this is the Trading Post, for us to trade our thoughts, to trade stories. If you have an encounter, a ghost story, if you have a cryptid story, there's no judgment here, okay? That's why I created this. For people of every race, religion, background, whatever, if you want to, you come in here, you listen to what we got to say, and you can add to it. And in the future, what I'm hoping to do is have my listeners send in their stories, and we'll do strictly an episode of compilations of your stories put together. And if you don't want your name put in it, we can use random names. It doesn't matter, okay? If you don't want to do it in comments, you can do it in email. It's more private that way. Some people like it that way. So, by any means, please, if you have stories you want to share, experiences, anything of the sort, point me in that direction, okay? Me and Noodle will take care of it, all right? But as we always say on this channel, live, laugh, and love, because tomorrow isn't promised to any of us. So you have a great day. Love you, my Trading Post family. Till the next one.